It is time to install the light switches and the ceiling lights in our Skoolie. Our battery system is a 24-volt system, and I wanted to find the lights that are 24 volts so I don't have to run them through an inverter or a DC to DC converter. And I also wanted to find the light switch that looks like a residential house switches but that are rated for 24 volts DC. Looking for those two things was not easy to find them, because we also wanted these recessed lights, and they have to run on 24 volts, and you cannot find these on Amazon or on eBay, really anywhere else except AliExpress. So I found these ones. They're 4 watts. This place I bought them on AliExpress has different sizes: 3 watts, 4 watts, 6 watts. They have square, they have rounded. We got the rounded ones, and they are very thin profile, 4 watts. So here is that, it says recessed down LED downlight, DC 24 volts. Okay, I'll post a link, but these are going to be very efficient because they're going to directly run off of the battery just with a fuse between them. And each light comes with its own driver, and you can see here it says input 24 volts, output 24 volts, and that's rare to find. Now when it comes to the switch, I didn't want to get a classic DC switch, I wanted a house switch. And look at these beautiful ones, paddles. And these are made by Leviton. It's a Decora model, single pole low voltage switch, model number 56021-2W. And they are rated for 3 amps, 24 volts AC or DC. So this is perfect. It's not really recommended to use a regular 120 volt light switches, AC switches, on the DC lights. It's not really recommended. It's the way it switches, and there's arcing and stuff inside. It can burn up sooner by putting AC switches on DC lights. So that's why I wanted to find these. They're a bit pricier, but they're exactly made for this purpose, for this voltage. So, I decided to buy those. I've already installed 6 of these lights that are all connected to one light switch up front here, because we're gonna have different zones. The loft has 2 lights and its own switch. Then here above the couches and part of the kitchen is a second switch, these 6 lights, and then these ones in line in this hallway, they are getting controlled by a third switch here above the kitchen countertop. And then, of course, kids have their own bathroom, and our bedroom has their own lights and light switches. But I wanted to show you, before I start installing, and show you how I'm installing it, how it looks. Beautiful. It's flush mount. So the back of this switch has the ground, which we don't need to worry about because this is not going to be DC. So we just have these 2, and that's where I'm going to connect the 2 wires. Now recommendation is to put the switch on the positive side. So that means that I'm going to use these 2 red wires, which I know are going to be positive. I'm going to use those to connect through the switch. And then I'm going to connect these yellow wires, which are negative. I'm going to connect them. And what I'm using for connecting all these wires is these Wago 221 connectors. These are amazing. I recommend using those. I'll post the link for everything in the description. And get the original, like the actual Wagos, not the copycats. These are really high quality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just connect these 2 negative wires together. And there we go. And then these positive are going to go through a switch. this switch has a marking that says which side is up. So where was it? Top. Right here it says top, and you can also see the imprinted 3 amp 24 volts is at the top. The ground wire, which we're not using, is at the bottom. And then of course there is a print here, Leviton, on the actual switch. You know, you want to install that upright. Of course my switch is sideways, so I'm going to just switch it like this. I didn't put my switches up and down, it's horizontal. So I'm gonna take one positive. This one is actually the power one that comes from the battery. I know that just because of the way I wired them. I remember. So I'm gonna put that one on the left side here. And then I'm going to screw that on tight. And then the other one, this one goes actually to the light itself. I'm going to do that one on the other side here. I'm going to tuck the wires in. And then I'm going to screw them in. So here is an example over here where I have a light switch here for one of my kids' bunk bed lights, but I'm also connecting to it another cable that's going to go out here for a fan and the lights in the bathroom and whatnot. So that's why I need a short piece of positive wire, and I'm going to put the light switch between the positive that goes to the light and the positive that goes to the power source. So this is it. Actually, I need to disconnect this. This is the light that goes from the light. This is the red, so the positive. So here I need a switch there, and then this is connecting and goes to the lights in the bathroom. Now that short piece of wire on the other end. There we go. So all you can think of the switch being just something that interrupts the positive wire. Now I'm going to show you how I'm installing the actual light. This wire is coming in from the light switch. So I'm going to cut it short a little bit over here. And then this wire is going to the next light. So they're going to be connected in parallel. So I have 3 lights that are going to be controlled with the same switch. Okay, I have these shortened. Now I'm using a utility knife to split open this shielding in the middle. There is a specific tool for this, which I don't have, so I gotta be careful so I don't cut myself. And I'm going right down the middle so I don't damage the actual shielding on the wires themselves. I'm gonna snip it there. Now I have this tool, the wire stripper. I'm gonna just come in here. Oh, 2, there we go. Now I have my Wago connectors. This one is made for 3 wires. That's what you need because I have another light right connecting to it, so I need 3 of them. So I'm gonna do like this, get another one over here. There we go. And then I'm just gonna connect this. Now I got my light. I make sure I twist this clockwise so it locks it, so it doesn't fall out. And then I gotta put these retaining clips. There's one. There's the other one. I'm looking at the LED driver and it says what's positive, what's negative. So the blue is the positive one. So I'm connecting the blue to the red, 'cause that's my positive. I pull on it a little bit to make sure it's tight, it's not coming out. And then I'm putting the brown on the yellow, which is the negative. All right. There we go. So now I have to tuck all these wires back like this, and then get the driver in there. And then I can put my clips in. There we go. That's nice. One thing I want to add is these lights that I got, they're non-dimmable. The driver is non-dimmable. So just on or off. I tried putting a dimmer switch on it and it basically like broke the light. So yeah, you won't be able to use dimmable switches on these if you want to run 24 volts directly from the battery, right? If you get these lights. If your system is a 12 volt, you can find dimmable lights on 12 volts, but 24 volts I couldn't find dimmable, which is fine. I have zones in the bus, so I have multiple switches, so I'll be fine without dimmable. And for the second light here, because there was a wire coming from the first light to the second one, you follow the same steps. You need a Wago with 3 connectors. And then for the last light in the chain, you just need a Wago with 2 connectors, right? One's gonna be for the wire, one for the actual light. There we go. All 3 are working, and these other ones have other switches. There you go.